Hey, your organization probably has a firewall, right? And maybe you have a few of them if you're larger. If I asked you right now whether your network was protected or not, I bet you'd say yes. And here's what I want to challenge today. I recently got to sit down with a senior Cisco engineer for a 2-hour deep dive, like a real demo, not a deck, into how modern applications are actually built, how they're being attacked right now, and what the security industry has built in response to that gap. And what I saw actually changed how I think about network security architecture. Because here's the thing, the firewall you're relying on was designed for a different era. It was an era where your application had 3 layers, a front end, a middleware, and a database, right? That classic model view controller web application. And the firewall sat at the perimeter. Traffic came in, traffic went out, and that was the model. It was good. Well, that model's gone, and most security architectures haven't caught up yet. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what changed, what that gap looks like against a real modern application under attack, and how the industry is responding. And this is a sponsored video. Cisco brought me in to cover their hybrid mesh firewall approach, and I'm going to give you the same honest breakdown I give to anyone. So let's get into it. Think about how applications were built 10 years ago, okay? 3-tier architecture, model view controller. You got the UI on top, middleware in the middle to talk to the database on the bottom. It was very clean, very predictable, very easy to protect. You put a firewall at the edge, you're covering the attack surface, and that was fine. Now think about how applications are built today. This finance app we're going to look at in the demo is a perfect example of what modern apps actually look like. You've got an on-prem version, full replica of that running as microservices in a Kubernetes namespace in a cloud environment, and bolted onto it because, it's 2026 is an LLM chatbot with access to the Kubernetes infrastructure. All 3 environments are connected. All 3 are talking to each other. This is what a hyper-distributed application is. And it's the reality for most organizations operating at any meaningful scale right now. And here's the problem with your firewall in this environment. Your perimeter firewall sits at the edge. It sees traffic coming in and out of your network. What it can't see is that east-west traffic, the communication happening between microservices running inside the Kubernetes cluster, your front-end tier talking to the processing tier, your processing tier hitting the database. The traffic lives entirely inside that environment. Your firewall is blind to it. So it also has no visibility into what's actually running inside your Kubernetes namespace. So if a developer deployed a test service into production and then forgot to clean it up, which happens, your perimeter firewall just has no clue about that. That service is sitting there, potentially connected to sensitive systems and completely invisible to your security controls. And then there's the AI layer. That LLM chatbot, it's a brand new attack surface. Prompt injection is a real threat vector. An attacker will craft a malicious input, feed it into your LLM, and use it to extract sensitive data, bypass access controls, or gather intelligence for a deeper attack. And your firewall just sees web traffic, right? HTTP or HTTPS. It doesn't have the concept of what's inside the payload. If this response is okay, that response is not. It can't protect against that attack because, frankly, that's not what the firewall was built to do. And on top of all that, you've got the management problem. And most organizations running at scale have firewalls from multiple vendors. You got physical appliances in the data center, virtual firewalls in the cloud, cloud native controls in AWS or Azure. And all of them have their own separate management interface, no single view of what policies are in place or what traffic is flowing or, sadly, what your real attack surface actually looks like. And this is the gap. So let's talk about what the industry built to close it. Gartner coined the term hybrid mesh firewall, and the concept came directly from enterprise feedback. Organizations told Gartner, listen, managing multiple firewall form factors across multiple environments with no unified control plane is unsustainable. Not a pain in the butt. Unsustainable. Gartner formalized that pain point into a framework, and I'll drop links in the description below to all these resources, but the baseline Gartner definition is a single management plane that controls multiple firewall types, like a physical appliance, a virtual firewall, cloud native control, all managed together. So Cisco took that definition and then expanded on it significantly for all of our benefits. Their version of hybrid mesh firewall isn't just unified management of firewalls, but it does do that too. It's a distributed fabric of security enforcement points to include firewalls, switches, routers, workload agents, and all of them are orchestrated from one place. So the enforcement extends all the way down into the workload itself. And here's what that means in practice to you. Cisco's hybrid mesh firewall stops advanced threats. So it protects the development and deployment of AI applications. It addresses vulnerabilities. It implements zero trust segmentation across your data center, your cloud environments, and your edge sites. Sounds pretty good, right? And it uses both network identities and workload identities to create what they call micro perimeters. It's segmentation and threat protection applied at the edge of the application and inside the workload themselves. So not just the network perimeter, but the application boundary. So inside the Kubernetes cluster, at the AI layer, at the switch port, application boundary, all of these things, you've got security. It's awesome. That is fundamentally different security model than what most organizations are running today. And that interface ties all of this together with the security cloud control, and that's Cisco's single management plane for the entire portfolio. So let me show you what this actually looks like when a real attack comes in. What you're about to see is a demo environment built around that hyper-distributed finance application that I showed you earlier. The red team goes in, they find vulnerabilities, they try to move laterally, try to exfil data. The blue team has Cisco's hybrid mesh firewall controls deployed. So let's walk through 6 capability areas, and each one addressing something that the traditional firewall couldn't touch. So the first one, this is security cloud control. This is where everything lives, every enforcement point, every policy, every visibility feed across the entire environment. And the first thing you need before you can enforce anything is visibility. You need to know what's in your environment. Like sound the horns, right? For asset inventory, like boom, 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 boom. Secure workloads is the orchestration layer inside Cisco's HMF or hybrid mesh firewall solution. When you point it at the finance app environment, it maps everything. 3 data centers, a Kubernetes cluster, the microservices, even the LLM chatbot, both the on-prem and cloud versions of the app, and it's all laid out right in front of you. And right here, this is why it matters. So buried inside the production Kubernetes namespace is a test microservice that has no business being there. Nobody put it on the security team's radar. Nobody flagged it as something to watch, but secure workloads found it automatically. It also surfaces something else. Look at the communication paths inside the application. The microservices version of the finance app is running both encrypted HTTPS and unencrypted HTTP between the front end and the processing tier side by side. That's a misconfiguration that creates real exposure. And it was completely invisible until we had workload level visibility. So let's look at the red team's entry point, okay? That LLM chatbot that we've been talking about. Red team's gonna try prompt injection. And the goal is to get the LLM to leak sensitive data from the finance application's back end. AI defense starts with the algorithmic red team, and it automatically probes your LLM across a range of attack categories. The popular AI ones like prompt injection, PII exfiltration, toxic outputs, and code injection. And the results are clear. Before any guardrails are configured, a meaningful number of those attacks are getting through. The chatbot is introducing risk exposure. So we can define these guardrails, right? We can put in detection and prevention rules for prompt injection, PII data, toxicity, unsafe code outputs, and these get deployed to the enforcement layer. So you can use this to see the same attack, but this time it's blocked, which is awesome. Now, when I saw this demo, I had the same question that you're probably sitting there right now thinking to yourself. This looks more like content filtering than a firewall. What does it have to do with hybrid mesh firewall? Well, here's the answer. HMF isn't a single product, which it took me a second to wrap my head around. It's a collection of enforcement capabilities deployed across your entire environment. So AI defense is the enforcement capability for the AI layer. It controls what goes into your LLM and what comes back out. So ingress and egress at the application boundary. That is a security enforcement point. So the traditional firewall model was just never designed to cover that layer, right? It could see data coming in and out, but it doesn't have the context to know that this is an okay response and this is not. Then we've got a rogue microservice here, right? We've got a misconfigured internal communication path using unencrypted HTTP, and we want to fix the segmentation policy. Here's the operational problem with this. In a zero trust microsegmentation architecture, pushing a policy change without fully understanding its impact can break things, production things, straight cash homie type things, all right? Most security teams have a horror story or 2 or 3 about a well-intentioned policy change that took something down. Like, just go look at any BGP story. Policy analysis solves that problem. Before you push any change, it evaluates the change against live telemetry for both your agent-based and agentless enforcement points. It shows you exactly what will happen, like what flows get permitted, what gets rejected, what escapes, before the enforcement button is ever pressed. That is the kind of confidence you need to actually move on segmentation in a live environment. It's pretty cool. I mean, basically, I wanted more information, right? So it basically does like a span port of the network traffic, showing the enforcement points so you can see what will happen and what while the production data continues to flow through. So very, very slick solution. And while we're here, the agent deployed in the Kubernetes environments also identifying CVEs in the running workloads. Those CVEs can be synced directly to Secure Firewall to activate specific IPS rules as a temporary mitigation. So you're not waiting for a full patch cycle to reduce exposure. Again, I love that. You're using the vulnerability intelligence you already have to tighten the controls right now. Let me talk about the part of the demo that I found technically very interesting. The bulk of traffic in a modern data center is TLS encrypted. That's not anything new, right? It's a good thing for data privacy, of course, but it also means that an attacker moving laterally through your network can hide their traffic inside the encryption. Your firewall sees a TLS stream, has no idea what's inside. Now, the traditional way, we have had an answer to this, but the traditional way was to decrypt everything and inspect it, then re-encrypt it, right? Almost like an adversary in the middle, except with permission. And that gave us visibility, but it also tanked network performance. It created compliance exposure around what we're inspecting and who's inspecting it, etc. And it still didn't protect us against zero-day threats because the IPS engine runs on known signatures, right? It has to have seen a threat in the wild before it can block it. Now, this is super cool. Cisco's answer is the Encrypted Visibility Engine, the EVE. EVE is neural network trained on TLS fingerprints, threat intelligence data, and process behavior. And its job is to determine the intent of a TLS flow without decrypting it. Like, they're looking at kind of the metadata of the encrypted data flows, and based on intelligence data and process behavior and TLS fingerprints, determining if it is a threat. And if it has high confidence that it's a threat, it gets blocked outright. So they don't even decrypt it. Just based on kind of the fingerprinting and what it looks like, if they have high confidence, they will block it outright. And flows that EVE is uncertain about, well, typically is around 4 or 5% of total TLS traffic. Like it's got some weirdness to it, but it's not high confidence that it's bad. That 4 or 5%, it will get passed for selective decryption for inspection. So it's doing the thing that we've always done, except the network performance hit isn't there because it's only like 4% of your network traffic. The other 95, 96%, it's never touched, which is absolutely awesome. And that 4 or 5% that does get decrypted, it gets passed to 2 inspection engines. A traditional Snort 3, which covers your known threat signatures, and Snort ML, a machine learning engine trained on threat families. And Snort ML identifies zero-day threats that have never been seen before and have no IPS signature. So traditional IPS misses those, Snort LM will catch those, which is awesome again. You get coverage against known and unknown threats, and you're only decrypting the traffic that actually needs to be seen, and you're not paying the performance costs to get there. Sitting in front of the on-prem finance app in the data center is the Secure Firewall, and the event viewer here is where you'll see the full picture. Expected flows, like the finance app users hitting the application, are tagged with security group tags from Cisco's Identity Service Engine. So you know exactly who is doing what in the environment, and that's your baseline. But alongside the expected traffic, you can also see things that should not be happening. The processing tier is initiating TLS connections back to the front end. Finance app users are making SSH connections to the front end server. Neither of these is normal behavior. Both are red flags. And this is east-west traffic inside the data center. Your traditional perimeter firewall was not logging this. It was not even seeing it. Secure Firewall, as part of the HMF architecture, is providing the visibility that makes this surfaceable and, more importantly, actionable. Last piece, and this one's genuinely interesting. Cisco extends layer 4 security controls directly to the switch, not through a firewall appliance that traffic has to hairpin back to, but running natively on the data processing unit, or DPU, inside a DPU-enabled smart switch. So layer 4 enforcement at the switch port itself for both physical and virtual devices. So what does this mean in practicality? You can enforce a policy that says the processing tier cannot initiate connections to the front end tier, right? And that enforcement happens at the switch port before the traffic ever reaches the firewall. You eliminate the hairpin. You extend your security enforcement to the furthest edge of your network. This is what the mesh in hybrid mesh firewall actually means. Enforcement everywhere, not just at the perimeter. All right, so let's close the loop here. We just walked through 6 attack scenarios and 6 controls that address them. I want to ask you a simple question about each one. Would a traditional next-gen firewall have caught the prompt injection attack on the LLM bot? No. It sees TLS traffic. It has no concept of what's in the payload or whether your LLM is even being manipulated. Would it have flagged the unencrypted HTTP running between your internal application tiers? No. The traffic never touches the perimeter. Would it let you evaluate a segmentation policy change against live telemetry before you pushed it? No. You push it, and hope is your policy. Would it have identified zero-day threats inside encrypted TLS flows without decrypting everything? Chances are no, it would have either missed them or made you pay the full performance cost to look at all of your traffic. That is the gap. We just watched it play out against realistic, modern application architecture. And if your environment includes microservices, Kubernetes, or AI application, it probably looks more like finance app than the traditional model view controller architecture that your firewall was designed to protect. Big thanks to Cisco for this one. I genuinely enjoyed the session with their engineering team. I learned some things. You're never too old to learn. Don't be so stuck in your ways of how it was done in 2005. Getting those 2 hours with a Cisco engineer walked me through a live attack simulation. It's not a normal Tuesday, right? I learned a lot. And if you want to go deeper on hybrid mesh firewall, I'm putting links in the description. Their solution page, their at-a-glance overview, and their ebook. If you want to get into the architecture in detail, it's worth reading if this is your space. And for the community, I want to hear what your take is on this, right? What does east-west visibility look like in your environment? Are you running workload level agents? Are you doing TLS inspection? What's your current approach to segmentation in Kubernetes environments? Drop it in the comments. Do not drop anything sensitive about your organization or anything. I just want to have kind of an open conversation about what people are seeing. I'm curious, honestly, and I know other people in the community would be too. If you know someone on a security team who's thinking about modern network architecture, go ahead and send them this video. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I'll see you in the next one.